Conștiința noastră este creată chiar dinainte de a ne naște, așa cum este creată și pe parcursul copilăriei, prin relația cu părinții noștri, cu originile noastre, cu generațiile trecute, cu mediul înconjurător și cultura noastră. Cum să schimbăm ceea ce credem că suntem și cum să devenim cine suntem cu adevărat? Sunt întrebările la care doctorul Menis Yousry încearcă să răspundă. El este fondatorul și mentorul fundației Essence, psiholog și psihoterapeut sistemic și de familie. El a lucrat cu zeci de mii de oameni din întreaga lume, concepând și facilitând cursuri de dezvoltare personală experiențială. În întâlnirile de grup pe care le organizează în lumea întreagă, Menis Yousry îi ajută pe oameni să înțeleagă cum sunt conectate acțiunile lor din prezent cu experiențele din copilăria timpurie, cu relațiile cu părinții, dar și cu generațiile, istoria și cultura trecutului. Why do people need Menis Yousry?
There is a lot of unresolved issues people carry in their lives. And a lot of people don't know they carry them. And it causes them a lot of stress. And it makes them not get what they want. And this is the area that I would really like to support people with. People don't actually need me, because I cannot do anything for anybody. But I help people to cross a gap that have fascinated me all my life. Most of us have an intention to be happy, to have a good relationship, to have a good family, to have money. But very few of us achieve that.
Why is that?
Because we're doing something that's stopping us getting what we want. But we don't know what we are doing. I am very realistic about my work, and it is very easy to read about it, it's very easy to explain it. It's very difficult sometimes for people to let go of something they're hanging on to it forever. And this is a mystery that I really don't understand, why some people will not let go.
Can you give us an example?
The most common one is our relationship with our parents.
Okay.
And this is what probably 99% of my work around this area. Many of us, I really, honestly, I have not met many people who survived the childhood without any damage. Very few, really.
Even if the parents are well-intended?
The parents already damaged themselves.
Okay.
And if the parents have problems, the children automatically will have problems. And people don't realize that the parents didn't do anything to them. The parents did to them what happened to them. And very few people that realized that their parents did not love them. The parents could not love them. Can you see the difference? Parents, the people who think that they are not loved, they don't realize that the parents could not love them. It's not that they did not love them.
It was not on purpose.
Not at all.
It just happened.
Nobody has a child to hurt. Nobody. It's against our evolution. But the parents who are not loved, or not connected, who are not being taken care of, it's very difficult for them to take care of the children. So if nobody connects with you, it's difficult for you to connect with anybody. If nobody loves you, it'd be very difficult for you to love anybody. If nobody take care of me, it's very difficult for me to take care of myself. And if I cannot take care of myself, I cannot take care of my children. It's exactly the same. If people just understand this, they will find peace with their parents. But it's very difficult to understand. I have a metaphor. Our relationship with our parents is like a bank account. As much as they received is as much they're going to spend. And as much love I receive is exactly as much I'm going to spend. You cannot give anything to anybody you do not have. And I have met for years and years so many people so angry with their parents because they feel entitled to be loved by their parents and be given everything when they don't realize that is not possible. And they live all their life thinking they can go back to the past and change it, or they live in the hope one day their parents will change to the parent they would like them to be.
Is there a communication that could
teach the parent to be the parent that the kids is waiting for?
Not at all.
No.
It's too late. If I'm grown up, it's too late. The journey changes. My journey is to learn how to accept. Because if I have suffered injustice with my parents, if I don't accept it, I will be a freedom fighter the rest of my life. I will look for injustice everywhere, and injustice will attract me, and I will have an arena to fight for a cause the rest of my life. And we do this in relationships, in work, in politics, in wars. And I have a strange realization. The people who fight in a war, they fight in their parents. They don't fight anybody else. Because how come a certain religion has people who are angry and people who are not angry? How come certain situation makes some people angry and other people not angry? We are choosing how to respond to every situation based on our unfinished business from the past. And our parents are a very big part of this, unfortunately.
Because you mentioned wars, and because this is the reality nowadays.
Yes.
And we hear between countries all kinds of tense moments and
Yes.
Wars and fighting. Is there someone, do you think, is there someone who takes advantage of this past, the parents that these people has?
You see, something very important that people need, we need to learn about. Our personality structure is not formed until 5 or 6 years old. We learn relationships, we learn emotions, we learn connection before we learn how to think. So if early in my life, the person who loved me, took care of me, has been angry with me, or reject me, or hurt me, I will form a structure in my personality that this world is like that. Because our relationship to the people who brought us to life, look how our word's going to be, is our relationship to life. So our relationship with our parents is our relationship with life itself. So my relationship with life will be rejection and anger. And what's going to happen to me when I grow up, I will attract people and situations that will make me angry to continue living with the unresolved situation that I did not like. But if I'm in a country and there's a situation is not right, I will be the first one to fight. If I have peace in me, I will not be part of the war. People use religion, use culture, use situations, use injustice to fight for a cause. It has nothing to do with the cause, it's to do with themselves.
In a family, which relationship is most important? With your parents, with your husband or wife, with your kids?
The most critical is the mother, and then the father after.
Okay.
In fact, babies are programmed, even wired, to recognize the woman's face before a man's face. The relationship between mother and child, it's absolutely critical. The first year of our life decide our whole entire life. It determines our relationships, our intelligence, our leadership style, our communication. Everything happened in the first year.
What should a mother do to be or to have for her child the perfect future?
I can tell you it in one sentence only.
Okay.
Okay? And parenting programs don't work. Education doesn't work. Teaching parents what to do doesn't work. Nothing works. Even therapy sometimes doesn't work. The only thing that can work to have healthy children, and this is a dangerous statement I'm going to tell you, is to work on ourselves. And only ourselves. Because our children are the extension of our own consciousness. They are our unconscious. If anybody listening to this program now, if you want to learn about yourself, watch your children. They're expressing everything that you have not managed to resolve yet, because you have given it to them.
It's a cruel observation.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's also an opportunity for us to learn about ourselves. And I can show different dimension of this as I'm talking to you. I realized that my children criticized me for something I didn't like about my parents. How come? How come they saw in me what I didn't like about my parents? That means I have taken it from them. They say the child comes to the world and they speak, they move, they learn, everything from where? They copy their parents. It's as simple as that. There are ways to help our children, many ways. First, early days, every moments. Notice what happened when a child is born. The first moment, what do they do with the child? Who did he give it to?
The mother.
Why?
Because they need to create that connection after giving
You said
birth.
the most important words. Okay, our brain develops, not only genetically, it needs another brain to train our brain to be in this world. And our first connection is the first training we have. If the mother is not connected to us, we suffer for life. And the mother can receive us, but she can still not connect with us if she's not connected to herself. The best training for anybody in the world to watch a mother and child. We, early stages of life, develop our right brain, which is our emotional brain, before we learn the cognitive structure to live in this world. So we learn about relationships before we learn how to speak. Okay? And I can show you. If you walk in the street and see a baby and you smile to the baby, they smile back to you. They don't understand who you are. They don't even know where they are. So how come they smile back at you? Emotionally, they develop, but not intellectually. See? So we learn what relationship is before we understand anything else. When we're happy, we react. So when we are in danger and react, we need somebody to come to us and tell us everything's okay. When we're happy, we also need someone to come to us and tell us it's okay also. And this is what we call in psychology regulation. So we need to be regulated by someone to teach us how to manage the world. You see? And the constant regulation by the parents teach the child to cope with life. And if the parent is not regulated in themselves, they cannot regulate the child. The constant repetition of regulation, yes, develop structure in the child to cope with life. And that structure is staying with everybody until today. So everyone has a structure, has a protection, how to cope with life based on the amount of regulation they receive from their parents. You see? Okay. If I am vulnerable in the relationship, something goes wrong, and I learned that there's nobody there for me, I will not speak. Or I will run away from the relationship.
I understand.
Or I can be angry. Yes? And my partner will do the same. So there's two words I'd like to make it clear to you. We must learn to show our emotions to our partner. We must learn to be vulnerable. And I will say to people, don't be afraid to be afraid, because the source of the human problems, we are afraid to be afraid. So if I'm in a relationship, I must allow my partner to take care of me, and I must allow myself to take care of my partner. So you remember I talked about this regulation with parent and child? We do it with our partner also. If I do this with my partner, when my partner is in trouble, I'm there for them. And when I'm in trouble, I show them I'd like them to be there for me. We become the example of regulation to our children. And we become to feel safe, and they feel safe automatically. But at the moment, the parents are focused on the children much more than to each other. And the most amount of divorce happen in the first 2 years because one of the parents, especially the mothers, focus on the child and forget the relationship.
Okay.
It's absolutely...
The husband is on second place.
Second place.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely fatal mistake. And I tell you why. We must honor the first person who come to our life, not the second person. Everybody has a place. The partner came first and a child after. And if I make one of my children as my partner, the relationship is over. And the responsibility on the child is much higher.
Yes.
Because really, how can a parent allow one of the children to take responsibility for them? And the pattern I have seen in the seminars, When the parents cannot or do not take responsibility of the life, the children take it for them. They take it when they're small. In life, when we are in trouble, we do one of two things. We regulate ourselves unconsciously or consciously. Most people regulate themselves unconsciously. Unconsciously mean I make myself busy, I work too hard, I have a hobby, I go on the computer for hours. I am numbing myself up.
I play sort of hide and seek with my problems.
Yes, yeah, I do all sorts of things because I don't want to feel the pain of separation.
So could this entire problem disappear or not even appear if we find the right partner? Or
there is no right partner. Everybody is the right partner.
Okay.
The relationship is not with the other person. It's with ourselves. Mm-hmm. If I have unfinished business, I'll see it in every partner. The parent's tool, the parenting tool is their consciousness. The leader's tool is their consciousness. The successful businessman or businesswoman is her consciousness. Because what we say in our conversation when we talk to each other is very little. The content is very little, but the quality is very high. Mm-hmm. There's two different things. When we interact with anybody, we interact in two ways, content and quality. The content is probably 5% or 1%. The quality is 95%. And the quality of our connection is our consciousness. So the parents don't need to learn anything. They need to be something for the child to be that. The home of the family is made up of like an atmosphere. They call it an energy field. They call it a psychic field. There are many names to it. The atmosphere of the home is made up of the consciousness and the unconsciousness of the parents. The beliefs, their idea is in the atmosphere. Like in this library, it has an atmosphere of knowledge. You walk here, you can be a little bit more intelligent, I think. So the child who comes into this atmosphere, yes, has no power to change the atmosphere. See? And that atmosphere becomes the child's world.
It's like an imprint.
Yes. So if you walk in a house now and energy is not very good, you can say something wrong and I want to leave. The child doesn't have that choice. A child go into the atmosphere and that becomes where they learn everything about life. They don't have the capability to question it or change it. And this is made up of the parents' consciousness. So I would say to anybody watching this program, the best healing and work you can offer your children is your own consciousness. You see, I worked as a family therapist for years in the NHS, in the National Health Service in England. And I had this situation that come up a lot. Parents come to me and tell me, my child is late every day for school and he doesn't want to go early. What can I do? We tried this, we tried this, we tried this. And then I look at the parent and say, I found out the parents, they come in late for the sessions themselves. And I tell one of the parents, are you always on time? No. So how did the child learn that? From you. So what do you need to do?
What do you think about this trend, let's say, in this modern society of using therapy, of going to therapists?
In the beginning of humanity, people lived in groups because we need each other to survive, because safety is a number. If we don't, somebody will eat us.
Okay.
So we seek comfort, connection from each other as a group. We started to move on. We didn't need this protection of the group so much because technology gave us more power. We formed families to seek connection and love. Families started to fall apart because we're moving on. So we're looking for relationships to be connected to someone and feel safe with someone. Now relationships are falling apart. What is next? Therapy is next.
Yeah.
Therapy is paying for love and safety in relationship. And I think it's very sad.
It's paying for someone to ask you, how are you?
Absolutely.
One day.
You're paying for someone to be kind to you. You're paying for someone to be patient with you.
So how can we bring together people with the same goal of communicating better, of connecting better. Because if you want for yourself to change something or to change yourself and you just have walls around you, I don't think that you will succeed.
This is why
How can we find the right persons around us?
A right person? But first of all, this is why I do my courses. Because I bring the people together like in the very beginning how it was. We can find the right person if we work on ourselves and deal with the issues we're carrying from the past that we cannot let go of. Because it's unbelievable how the things I have seen work. I've been working with people for 30 years now. Unbelievable how we scan the environment and we pick the person who has the issues that we cannot resolve yet. If you resolve it, these people will not appear. And if they appear, they have no room to be with you. And if they appear and you connect with them, you will be able to manage them.
Okay. Is there a way to success? People don't have patience nowadays.
This is part of the problem. Our beliefs get stronger every day. Did you know that? Because they are reinforced. Because this is what we believe is true and we are proven as true. Now, how can I expect to change something after it's been reinforced for 30 or 40 years? Impossible. Everything is becoming fast nowadays. And now we have a lot of information. The more we learn, the less we feel, and the answer is in our feelings, not in our thinking. Because everything happened to us to come in the feeling level. It's in our unconscious mind, in the right brain. And our right brain is connected to every move we make, every action we take.
So what's the most important, the heart or the brain?
They are both very important. But it's like I prefer to use the left and right side of the brain.
Okay.
The right side has all our emotions and feeling. The right is the practical side. Emotions don't know they exist. The left side of the brain, it knows that we're here. So our emotion doesn't know it exists, so it keeps running and running and running all the time. And it's activated by life situations and reactive situations. We are now in a culture that worships youth and beauty. We lost the wisdom of older people, and we're looking for image all the time. We've lost that. We've lost looking at the wise people and the respect. We lost respect altogether, and we lost our gratitude. It's very difficult for us, and we expect everything too fast and pay for it. Something doesn't work, we throw it and get something else. You see, so that is why there is a new technology coming in, which is to do with studying the brain, and it's called neuropsychology and neurobiology. We are now studying our brain much more. In the last 2 or 3 years, it's been the best time for psychology. We now have discovered many things, and there's a new time coming to allow us to know how our brain works and how we function, react to people. And this needs some time. I cannot change in one day. Most of us need to be regulated, but by somebody else, not by computers, not by Facebook, not by internet, not by text messages.
Not by drugs.
Not by drugs, or not by alcohol. Most of our trouble in life came from another person. It will take another person. It's an experience. Another person to help us, not a book. All these things, information is good beginning. It's to tell us where I should be looking. But after that, it has to be experiential. When I was doing this work years ago with couple, we had a term called codependency. Codependency means that everybody, that I'm dependent on my partner, can't live without them. It was supposed to be dysfunctional. And that was a big mistake. What is the purpose of having a partner? Is safety. Safety is the problem that cause all mental illnesses. Because if I'm not safe, I will do something to make myself safe, and I might even kill somebody or hurt somebody to be safe. Because if I feel safe in myself, my children will be safe, my partner will be safe, and I can give them safety. The purpose of relationship, it is not romantic love. It's an illusion. It doesn't even exist. So what's happening to us nowadays, we look for someone, fall in love with them, and then after a few months we find somebody else and somebody else. Because what we really need is survival and safety. And this is what a child needs in the family. Everybody needs that. So if I'm with a partner and I make my partner feel safe, the whole world will change. The whole entire world. If you are safe and I'm safe, the whole world will change. But we're not safe.
What can we do if we had a parent, let's say, who used to drink? So the childhood of someone, an adult right now, had so many rough moments because of that alcoholic parent.
Yes.
How can be grateful to his parent? How can he make peace with that parent so that he can feel free?
I tell you how. They need to understand why people drink. Why people drink. They cannot cope with life. And why they cannot cope with life? There is an observation I have. If a man does not feel respected by his wife, they drink. Because it kills them. It's a family problem. That's not my main reason. People drink to regulate themselves or to cope with a family situation they cannot deal with. If one of my parents is alcoholic, okay, do I expect that person not to drink? This is what everybody expects. If I judge them or hate them or be angry with them, they will drink more. They drink it because of that. So what we do is, we make them more alcoholics.
Yes.
It is like we find somebody who killed somebody, for example, take them and we want to kill them. The same thing. Every child, when they see difficult situation in childhood, they say this to themselves. When I grow up, this will never happen to me. Or I will never do this. The children of alcoholic people, they are alcoholic also in a different way.
Workaholic maybe?
Yes, or eat too much.
Okay.
The same. So if I don't have compassion for myself, I will never have compassion for anybody. In order for anybody to find peace with their parents, especially if the parents are traumatized, alcoholic and all that, they must learn how life was for their parents. How was it? What happened to them? What made them do that? Imagine our parents when they were children, what happened to them? And what made them become like this? If we are not careful, we will become like them. If you're angry with anybody, if you hate anybody, if you fight anybody, you will become like them. Because you live in their energy field. And if we judge our parents, we pay a very high price. Very high, really. Our children will do this to us.
If we set a goal, let's say, I won't do this, so I won't be like my parents. Why does it happen so many times to do exactly the opposite? Why our plan is not working?
Anything that you don't want in your life will haunt you forever. In fact, anything you want or you don't want, you become slave to it. If you don't want something, it will never leave you alone. And if you want it, it will never leave you alone either. All our suffering, because we don't accept reality. If my parents hurt me, and if I learn to find peace with this, I learn how to love. And I'll show you why, how. Watch a mother with a child, very small child. When a child cries and gets angry, the mother doesn't cry either, does she?
No.
How come? Her love is too strong. We must do the same with everybody. We don't have to agree. We don't have to agree with my parent alcoholic, but I don't have to hate them either. The reason we have wars is because we hate the people who are fighting. We hate them. That means we are like them.
You encourage people to show their real face,
Yes.
to be exactly like they are.
Yeah.
What if that real face is awful? It's horrible. It's far more worse than the first face they had.
This is a belief. Every human being is very loving. Everyone. And this is one of the secrets of healing people. If I believe people will be evil, I can never work with anybody. Everybody's okay. Nobody has any problems. Nobody in this world has a problem. All we do is we're doing something that we've learned to protect ourselves that is not making us be effective and happy in our lives.
In your seminaries, why do you think people come and try to talk to you and give you samples of their lives, after all? What do they expect from you?
You know, many of us, nobody heard us. Nobody heard us talking.
But maybe we don't know how to talk, how to express ourselves, our emotions.
This is what I teach people in the seminar. I teach them how to speak. Again, how to be heard and be accepted. Let me make it clear a little bit. There's a tribe in Africa. Okay. When people commit a crime, they make a big circle, they put the person in the middle, and they give the person positive feedback, not negative feedback. It's very unusual. And the belief is they heal the person's soul. Okay? This is give me an idea. So if I did something terrible happened to me, and I say to people, and they are kind to me, they will teach me how to be kind to myself. You have children?
Yes, too.
Your children's biggest dream is not for you to be at home. Do you know that?
No.
It's for you to be happy. If you smile, yes, they will feel safe. I work with families and children a lot, and I observe children, and the child is looking their mother's eyes all the time. If she's worried, the child reads the mother's emotions very quickly. They read emotions. They don't read words. They read you. Yes. If even thinking, they will know it. So now you have the secret.
Okay.
Really, if you're okay, they'll be okay. Some parents have a belief, I have to be at home. Yes? I would tell parents, don't do anything you don't like. If you want to be out, be out. It's okay. But when you're at home and you're out, feel safe, so they feel safe.
Can we be a quality person? Is this a right term?
Nothing would be cured. No. Nothing. We are behaving in such a way in life to survive. The way we behave to survive is not working because it's a reaction to the past. So what we need to do is to know what we're doing exactly. If we don't know what we're doing, nothing we can do about it. You cannot deal with something you don't know what it is. So I spend a long time with people, especially high-level seminars, advanced courses, get them to see exactly what they're doing in life that paralyzes them. If you know what you're doing, you have a better chance to manage it. Look at, I'm selecting word very carefully, not to change it or control it. You have to manage it. If we don't manage our emotions will manage us. See? So what we do in life will never change because it's biological. It's already network in the brain, like structures. But if we manage to live with it and deal with it, then it's not going to control us anymore, and we can manage any situations in life. If I cannot manage myself, it's impossible for me to have a relationship. And my children, I cannot manage my children either. And this is what happened to many of us. Many parents could not manage themselves. And their children see that they don't feel safe.
There are relationships or marriages that lasted 15 or 60 years, and the other that lasted, I don't know, 6 months or 1 year. Yeah. Why is there?
There is another side to this, because now we have many options. Before, there was a pressure from the culture, money, economy, compromises. People know that's strong, so they stay. Yes. So in the beginning of any relationship, in the very beginning, everybody puts on their best behavior and they're very happy. After the honeymoon period, they start teaching each other how to live their lives. So I will teach you how to live your life, you'll teach me how to live my life. If we last a little longer, we get sick and tired of doing this and we relax again and we continue. Not many people last that long. But in the olden days, people did last much longer than now. This lifetime we live in is not conducive for relationships. There's too much stimulation because we need safety from the partner, but now we have enough stimulations outside, so we don't think of our partners as much.
People used to be ruled by a team spirit in the past, and now this spirit is not really so much important. Everyone is trying to do something on its own.
Because we are moving from a group culture to individual culture. The extreme West is individual and the East is group culture. You kind of hear coming out of a group culture in Romania, and you're heading for individual. In the individual culture, everybody think for himself or herself. What can I get from me? And I don't care about other people. But in the group culture, the connection with the group is much stronger. It has its own problems too. But we're heading to the individual.
When we make mistakes, everyone or many therapists, let's say, or in books, they say, try to forgive yourself. How can we do that?
When we were children and we did something wrong, many people didn't have this opportunity. Somebody came along and said, it's okay, don't worry, we can fix it. Or, doesn't matter. But many of us, when we did something wrong, somebody who loved us came and shouted at us and was angry with us. We learned to do this to ourselves from them. So start judging us, okay? Now, when we make a mistake, we must realize that human beings make mistakes.
Another line, really well spread, is like, this is it. I'm accepting a certain situation because it always happens to me. I'm always on my own. Is there something in our head, in our soul? Where is it?
What I call a negative affirmation. If I keep saying that, it's going to happen all the time. This is like, you see, there's a difference between acceptance and submission to what life do to us. If we are not capable of looking and working ourselves, people will write our life story. I will not write it myself. So if I keep saying to myself, people will write my story, and I will be a victim to life. So I need to work on myself in such a way and find out why I am allowing myself to be in that situation.
Every person has its limits. Now you get angry in a certain situation, you laugh too loud sometimes. How can we manage these limitations that people have?
Every reaction I have in my life, it's not to the person in front of me. It's in me already. And the person in front of me take it out of me.
So if every person would work on her own, everything will be better?
The whole world transformed tomorrow.
So if it is, or it sounds to be so simple, why can't we do it?
Because nobody wants to face themselves.
Is this the worst thing that can happen?
It's very painful to look at ourselves. It's very painful. It's easy to look at somebody else. Really, it is. How many people do you meet in your life that they accept they are wrong? Not many people. But we make somebody else's wrong. There's in Greek mythology, there's a saying that other people's sins in front of our eyes, but ours behind our back. We are refusing to look at ourselves. I mean, Gandhi said a very beautiful sentence. He said, oh, the only devils in the world are the ones in our hearts. But we're not looking there. We're looking at somebody else.
Did it ever happen to you to leave a seminary and to be, I don't know, not satisfied with what you got from people? How is it that evening after you finish a seminary, a 3 days seminary, or I don't know? Are you tired? Are you pleased? Are you sad? How?
Nothing whatsoever.
Not.
I have no expectations whatsoever.
Is this a secret in life, not to have expectations from the others?
This is the secret of everything. Absolutely everything. I can prove to you straight away. Imagine you have a partner, just for a moment, that doesn't want anything from you. Just for a day. How would you feel? But imagine you have a partner that's expecting everything from you.
Maybe tensed
Because
in this second
there's a very
situation.
nice little story I'll tell you. Now, imagine you have a best friend at work that you really respect and love and admire. And this friend told you, I want to take 1 month or 2 months off, leave my work, travel around the world, and find myself, find who I am. What would you say to them? Will you support them or not?
Yes, I would be
Happy for them, yes? If your partner say the same thing, what would you do?
I don't know. It would be harder.
How come? Because you have high expectations of your partner.
From him to be there with me.
Absolutely. If you can never make someone love you.
Thank you very much.
Maybe it's a good line to end.
Yes.
It's not you personally, sorry, for everybody.
Yes, yes.